As we've been saying and warning about, because I actually know and talked to quite a few priests about this, it's not just me making up stuff. Everybody's been aware of this push for the so-called reunion, and Pope Leo is wanting to reestablish full visible communion with the Patriarch of Constantinople. It certainly won't be the whole of the Orthodox Church. It'll really just be the subverted State Department run Patriarch of Constantinople Church. So this is also very timely with the corruption and scandals in the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese in New York that everyone is talking about. I don't know anything about the Greek Orthodox circles in America, so this is something that a lot of people on Twitter are talking about, Jim Jotras and others. So you could go to Jim's wall and read about it, exactly what's going on. It's more so money corruption and the Bartholomew and others kind of Elpida cashing in by supposedly selling churches or something. I don't know all the details, but it's just par for the course when it comes to big level corruption and scandals. And, you know, what we've really been warning about and saying was coming for a long time is this ecumenist push for so-called reunion. But the problem is that you can't have a reunion without truth. So this is all a geopolitically motivated reunion. It's not a reunion based around, oh, we've actually worked out the theology of the Filioque and the essence centered distinction, and we've worked out the role of the papacy. That's all been pushed aside, and it's akin to the reunion of Florence. So if you go back to the attempted false union of Florence, this is a repeat of that. Just like at Florence, when you had the Medicis and others kind of in the background, sort of engaging in geopolitical machinations to bring about this false union and to suppress the theology and kind of twist the theology at any cost to make it fit into some sort of union formula. The same geopolitical thing is happening now with the State Department influence on the EP, which is exactly why the EP reversed its course and supported the schismatic church in the Ukraine that they just created out of nowhere with Duminko and others who were formerly defrocked schismatics, and to the persecution then of the canonical Orthodox Church in the Ukraine, all of which has been well documented. You've seen, of course, people like lawyers that represent those people on Tucker. I've actually talked to people who know all about this directly. So this is an ongoing thing. We did podcasts on this 7-8 years ago when it really kicked off. So it's all connected, is what I'm trying to say. All this is working together. And there's a lot of very low tier, very naive, silly people in the Roman Catholic and Orthodox world that think that all of this is happening by miraculous divine providence and it's all so great, and none of those people know anything about the actual theology or ecumenism, how ecumenism is essentially a geopolitical tool. Remember, we just did a 4-hour live stream detailing all of the vast history, as much as we could, of the Vatican's deep inside connections to the CIA and the Mossad and other intelligence agencies, and how this was a key relationship that influenced the documents and the outcome of Vatican II, particularly Nostra Aetate, Gaudium et Spes, which is the papal teaching at Vatican II on socialism and Marxism as its government principle. In other words, they have actually adopted Marxism, socialism, and Gaudium et Spes, and we covered that document many times over. And what's crazy is I think we're at the stage where the only people left in Rome are the ones that are just absolutely fanatical loons who don't really care about the theology. They just kind of want to have their own little grift or their own little marketing scheme or whatever they're up to, because I can't imagine anyone remaining in that system who actually cares about truth unless they're in a sunken cost fallacy. And I say that not out of hatred. I mean, you guys know, still friends with Tim Gordon. I like Tim. I want the best for Tim and his family, but I can't fathom how you're going to find the best for your family in this horrible institution that is a basically global organized crime syndicate run out of Rome. So why would you want to be like saying, Tony Soprano, he's a good guy, he's a good guy. I'm gonna have a communion meal with Tony Soprano. Deep down, he's a good guy, though. He's a good guy, though. Gabagool, good guy. We all gotta get together and be Gabagool good guys together. We're all on the same team, ain't we? Yeah? Ain't we? Hey, listen, Tony Soprano, he brought me some gabagool. He's a good guy.
All this from a slice of gabagool.
He's a wise guy, but he's a good guy. What's up, man? I'm you.
Hey, Jay.
Orthodox here from Serbia. I agree with everything you said. It's almost already lost about this ecumenism, modernism, and all this bullshit that happened. You know what's worse for me? They are preaching about everybody can just take Eucharist just like that without any preparation, without any fasting, without confession.
Yeah, that's so that they can have open communion with all these schismatic and Roman Catholic heretical groups.
Yeah, that's really pissing me off. You know some what church fathers told about those preparation for taking Eucharist?
That's actually a good question, and I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head, where that's specifically spoken of. I'm sure, if you did some Google searches, you could probably find something on that.
Yeah, okay. I will just ask questions and then leave, and you can respond later, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so the first question is whether you'd seen a video of John Paul II and Bartholomew chanting the creed together, and the John Paul II won't say the filioque part. It's actually funny. We've been shown this video to us this week in our theology class in university, and I was just wondered whether you'd seen it or not. And the second question is, what's your opinion on the Last Temptation of Christ movie? Because
yeah, it's Nestorian, it's Arian, it's blasphemous, it's terrible. So yeah, thank you for those questions. And I think I had heard about this John Paul II and Creed thing, but it was many, many years ago. But no, I've not actually seen the video, but I don't doubt it. Sean, are you chewing? What you chewing on, man?
Hey, sorry, bud.
It's all right. What's up?
I wanted to thank you for everything that you've been, doing for everyone over the last decade and stuff. I'm now a reader in the Orthodox Church. Really, really appreciate it.
We've congratulations.
Classes. Thank you. Yeah. We've had 20 people baptized here in South Florida over the last year. Literally everyone listens to you. They're all Ortho bros. So yeah, nice. Thank you for, it's a big deal. What is your opinion on possible schism in Orthodoxy? And I bring that up because I talked to, Bishop Luke, I've talked to, Metropolitan Nicholas, and they're very, very concerned over what's going on with the EP, what's going on with other jurisdictions. There seems to be not just talk about a push with Rome, but actual ecumenism going on. You had another caller mention that, even monophysites are allowed to commune and stuff. And I know inside Rokor's even had problems with the Moscow Patriarchate because, they have with, the blessing of Satan missiles and stuff like that. But not just that, even with old Soviet era statues being re-erected. And, that Rokor sent a message condemning that. And then he kind of just ignored it. I think it was the OCA they would care because there's a lot more money behind the OCA. But I just wanted your opinion on where you think that's heading. Because and just in the weeds here, I know that people inside Rokor are thinking that there's very few people actually standing for the Orthodox faith.
Yes.
And we've had conversations about if ecumenism is true, then why did the martyrs die for what they died for? Why did the confessors die for what they died for? Why did Maximus have his tongue cut out if it doesn't matter?
Right.
So I'm just curious about what your opinion. It seems that something big is happening. I'm not trying to be end of world and all that stuff, but it does seem like time is condensing and moving forward and everything else. So I'm just curious about your opinion.
In fact, Father Deacon Ananias and I have been talking about this for a long time about how to kind of handle it, how to go about discussing it. It's a very difficult issue because it's going to be very hard on all of us. And that's why I was saying months ago, get ready because things are going to get a lot worse for Orthodox we've been saying about for years, by the way, they're going to push this false union.
That's exactly what's happening,
right.
And there's been a lot of pressure, on certain, certain parishes inside Rokor have really kind of fought it. And that kind of seems to be almost really kind of proving Father Seraphim Rose's Rokor seems to be the last, real stand against this stuff. They're the only ones that are really saying stuff. If you look online, there are a few, Greek priests and Antiochian priests that are saying stuff, against what seems to be coming. But for the most part, you see you see the EP, you see Bartholomew, you see Go Arch really pushing towards this and even asking for money for different parishes for stuff. So it's difficult, especially, when we're doing like catechisms weekly and stuff, discussing the importance of, the unity of faith, but it's the unity of correct belief. That's literally what Orthodoxy is. That is, the true church.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, it's just letting you know that, people love you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. And I think big things are coming. So, batten down the hatches.
Exactly. No, you're right. And, I mean, it's going to be a challenge, and no, we don't think that everybody who's in different jurisdictions is automatically bad or graceless or any of that kind of stuff. But things are going to get pretty bad in the next few years, and there's a heavy push for this. And we've been trying to warn you guys. And so, unfortunately, no, you're not cooked. You would only be cooked when this really goes into effect and there's an actual schism. Nicholas French, $10. Thank you so much. What do we do if the EP says it's time to commune with Roman Catholics? I'm Antiochian. Well, you have to oppose it, just like the false union of Florence. You can't have union and communion without the same faith. It has to be in truth. So this is all putting geopolitical stuff above truth, and that's idolatry. It's false.
Because you said that the Orthodox, we have to resist the ecumenism.
Yeah.
So, because I watched some of your streams, and I saw your critique against sedevacantism was basically that they can't go against their authority, they can't go against the Pope. So I'm just asking, like, how can we go against our bishops and they can't go against their bishop or their...
Because it's different systems, bro. Their system is incoherent because everything hinges on the Pope. Ours does not. So totally different systems. Ours is decentralized. You have a duty to go against heterodox, corrupt bishops. So totally different systems. That's why you can't apply the logic and the praxis of the Roman system to the Orthodox. And that's exactly the disconnect there. But thank you for the question. H. Brazzi, did you want to say something?
It was good, Jay. Hey, I just wanted to say, I remember a few weeks ago, I said I was going to call in and, make a statement or something on the whole dating thing. I'm gonna skip past that a little bit. Somebody earlier said something, I don't know if it was a super chat or if it was up here, about, actually, it might have just been a few minutes ago. I'm sorry, I had a really long day, about you, OCA or whatever, not liking you and, making comments about you specifically.
Yeah.
When I hear that, I kind of relate it directly to what was going on a few years ago, early in the this is gonna sound dumb at first, but trust me, I'm gonna tie it all together. Early on in the MAGA movement, when Trump made that statement that they aren't really going after him, they're coming after his voters, his constituents or whatever. And that's exactly how I feel about this, because the reason so many of us young guys, I'm not talking about older or middle-aged, I'm talking about younger guys specifically. The reason why we support you so much is because we just haven't had this, especially from a theological basis. Most people that are in this space, they tend to be mild-mannered, or maybe they do have this side of them, but they just choose not to show it. Maybe they're afraid of backlash or whatever, or they're scared to make comments on race or gender issues and talk about the problems that women bring with their feminism and all this other shit. And so whenever I hear that, it's not even that it's necessarily a Jay Dyer issue. They're talking about every single last one of us, that regardless of what they...
Right.
Yeah, was that you or FDA?
No, that was me saying, yeah, that's right. He's gone.
So no matter how many times they say it,
right,
no matter what it is they accuse you of, and obviously, and you've talked about this publicly, you were actually having problems before you even got into the church. Yeah. And from my perspective, that's just further proof, because some of the stuff that you were saying prior to becoming Orthodox, and you saying, and said was kind of preventing you from entering early on. Well, there's a lot of young guys that feel the exact same way that you did back then.
Yeah.
So
right.
Just like I said, it's whenever I hear that, it's not just about Jay Dyer. It's about every single young guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
He calls himself a direct ortho bro or whatever. So Oh, that's all.
Well, yeah, and even if you don't have any association with my materials or whatever, you're gonna have the same types of issues. So you can just take me out of the picture. It's not a me issue. It's a broader global cultural issue of people who want Orthodox authenticity versus people who are ecumenist and politically motivated, Americanist, subject to other things. It's not the entirety of the OCA. It's basically like 2 or 3 bishops that want to go in the direction of being recognized by the EP and GoArc, and they want a standard single American jurisdiction. It's none of this even theology. It's all to do with geopolitical stuff. That's what dominates all this. So all you nerds into theology that don't even realize, like, you're not people that are really pulling the strings and really running things, they don't care about theology, man. You're all interested in reading Palamos and all. They don't care about that, man. The people at the State Department, the people at the CIA, people who set up all the schism in Ukraine, Fordham University people, they don't care about theology, man. You got to get wise to soft power, to geopolitics and all. That's what's really going on. It's nothing to do with theology.